Good afternoon, everyone. So it's my great pleasure to be here, the part of the RADCON, the wonderful conference. So thank you for Professor Ram and also the scientific committee to having me here. So today I have a privilege to sharing the lung tumor ablation. What is the update, especially in the Thailand situation now? So the outline of my talk today is going to be the update indication, the mechanism of action. So I will sharing you how to choose the heat-based and the cold-based treatment ablation, and I will show you the case example. So right now for the lung cancer treatment, so they still have a big gap because of most of the patient cannot underwent to do the surgery because of the underlying disease and the medical condition, for example. So now this is the update NCCN guideline from 2026. So right now the tumor ablation is alongside of the SBRT with the same outcome, and especially the tumor that less than 3 centimeters. And nowadays we facing the problem of the multiple lung cancer more and more because we are having more CT scan, more chest X-ray, and detected more small nodule. And most of the case, sometimes we have the multiple gallbladder nodule, and most of them can be the multiple lung cancer as well. In that kind of situation, so the surgery may be not a good option because that lost a lot of the lung tissue. So the last but not least of the indication is the recurrent or the metastasis. So the patient who underwent the surgery or the SBRT can have the recurrent. So the tumor ablation itself can be the salvage treatment for in that group of the patient. And also the lung metastasis right now, so oligometastasis, the ablation is a treatment of choice for that. So for the lung metastasis, it's not just only the tumor size, tumor location, and tumor number. So you have to look for the patient itself. So the patient needs to be the long disease-free survival and control the primary treatment. And so if the tumor that can be up to 5 tumor, so and the tumor size should not be more than 2 centimeters. So this is the data from our center from 2017-2025. So this is a trend. This graph showing the statistic of the percutaneous biopsy. So you see the trend of the biopsy. Before that, I think the time that I'm read with us, so most of the case is going to be the liver biopsy. But right now, the biopsy shift to be the lung. So because we detect more of the metastasis and patient lives longer, so and the lung is bigger than the liver, I mean in terms of the space and the chance of the metastasis. So that's the reason why we have the multiple lung nodule. And also in Thailand, we also have the prevalence of the tuberculosis as well. So that kind of mixing of the infection and the tumor. So that's the reason why the lung biopsy is very important right now. Moving to the ablation of the lung. So we have a good trend of doing the ablation of the lung as well. And on this corner, so we have the cryoablation, RFA, and the microwave ablation. If you can see, so we're starting doing the RFA ablation for the lung since 2017. And 2022, so we have cryoablation in our center. So and the trend is going up high because we can break out the limit of some of the location of the tumor ablation in the lung by the cryoablation, and I will show you later. So this is the 3 modality that we have, the RFA, microwave, and the cryo. So the RFA and microwave is something similar, so based on the heat base, but the cryo is based on the ice formation that kill the tumor. So the heat base is, we are very familiar with the solid organ, either liver or the kidney or even the thyroid tissue. So that's the same mechanism. The RFA need the ionic substance and need the ground pad to be the closed loop system to have electrical power. But the microwave, they just oscillate the water molecule that can creating the bigger ablation. So, but for the cold base, so this is something that's different. So because they use the Joule-Thomson effect, it means so they pressurize the gas through the small hole of the needle that can change the temperature surrounding the needle. So they can create the temperature less than minus 100 Celsius degree, but the minus 40 Celsius degree can creating this injury of the cell and creating the cell death after that. So the choice of modality when we are gonna choose which one that's suitable for the heat, RFA or microwave, and which one is the cold. So we consider two factors. One is the size, one is the location. And the rest is the cost of the treatment, that the cryoablation is higher cost of the treatment. So this table is summarized, the RFA, microwave, and cryoablation. So you can see the ablation zone size. As you know, the microwave can get the bigger size of the ablation zone, but the cryo itself, only the one needle can creating the small size, comparing with the RFA and the microwave. But at the same time, we can put another multiple needles, up to 8 needles at the same time, and creating the bigger ablation zone. So I will show, and this is the diagram that I'm refer from the seminar Interventional Radiology. This is from the UCLA group. So I think this is a very good diagram to show you. So the orange one is the location that's suitable for the RFA. So that means within the lung parenchyma, not close to the vessel. And the red one, that the tumor that close to the vessel, so the microwave itself can overcome the heating effect. And for the rest, the central location and the peripheral location, the cryo can have an advantage. For the peripheral location, the cryo can have a less pain during the operation and also the after operation. In the cryo lung, actually we can do under the local anesthesia. So in the case that patient very fragile and the location maybe is difficult, you need the patient to hold their breath. So we can use the cryoablation for that as well. And the lesion that close to the central location, for example, the bronchus and the vessel. So for sure, the heat can injure the bronchus very easily, that can create the bronchopleural fistula. So the cryo itself, they can destroy the tumor by the apoptosis in nature. So, and part of them can be the necrosis. So, but the measure of the tumor cell death by apoptosis, that can have preventive, protective of the organ and also the connective tissue around that. So next I will show you the example case. The RFA is widely available. So in our center, we're using the expandable needle mainly. So the reason of this is good for the lung because the lung is moving all the time. When you park the needle at the center of the tumor, so you don't need to worry if you use the expandable needle like this. This is an example case, 61 years old male with the lung metastasis from the CA colon and size at 1 centimeter at the right middle lobe. So this is very straightforward. So you puncture the needle from the anterior side, park it in the center of the tumor, and then we do the ablation. After ablation, we see the gall grass covering the tumor that represents the complete ablation. And this is the 5 years later, so they still have the complete ablation. The second case is the 81 years old male with the lung metastasis from the colon cancer as well. Sorry. So I moved to the microwave ablation. The microwave ablation can creating the larger zone. So I will choose that when the tumor that close to the vessel or the tumor size may be the 2 centimeter more than that. So because we can use the one needle to save the money. So this is the 49 years old male with the advanced stage of the non-small cell lung cancer. This is one of another indication right now. So some of the patients, in this guy, they have the bone metastasis at the cervical spine, and his disease was controlled by the systemic treatment for 1 year. And so the primary tumor is shrinkage. Before that is size about 4 centimeters. Once the tumor is shrinkage lower than 3 centimeters, and the other part of the body have control, so the oncologist send us the patient to do the ablation of the primary tumor. So the residual tumor of this case at the left upper lung is at 2.3 centimeters, but the angle of the approach is a bit difficult because they have they have the fissure that obstacle me into the anterior approach. So in this case, we have to use this way to puncture off the tumor. And fortunately, so this is the longitudinal of the needle as well, so that concordant into the size of the ablation zone that we're gonna create by the microwave ablation. So, and this is the after, you can see only one needle we can create a very big of the ablation zone. And this is the 1.5 years later, so they have shrink all of the tumor. Another case is a 70 years old female. Again, so the patient have the advanced stage, underwent the surgery, and now she on the targeted therapy and having the recurrent tumor at the right middle lobe. So this is the right middle lobe because the patient underwent the right upper lung lobectomy. So in this tumor is size about 2.2 centimeter, but what we have to concern, as I mentioned, if we have the cryo, maybe we choose a cryo because this is a central tumor close to the visceral pleura. But in this case, so I choose the microwave ablation that I have to be very careful because this structure area, so we can have the vagus nerve along this part. So during the procedure, so we need to creating the artificial pneumothorax to having the space between the ablation zone and also the vagus nerve. So, and this is during the ablation. And this is after, you can see the big ablation zones, so they can turn to be the cavity at first, and then 3 month follow-up, 1 year follow-up, and 2 year follow-up. So the complete ablation. Move to the cryo case. The cryo is relatively safe for the connective tissue. We can use the multiple probe. And this is the example that we choose, the colon metastasis with the pleural metastasis. 2 sites, 2 spots from the PET CT. So I use the 2 needles at each spot. So I choose the cryo because it's in the pleural space, so it's gonna be pain after the ablation. So and this is during the operation. So I choose the 2 needle ice probe. And this is the last case of my talk, the 69 years old, the RCC with the lung metastasis. You can see the tumor in the central location, and lucky me, so we also have the 2 vessels alongside of the tumor as well. So in this case, I cannot use the microwave ablation because they have a chance of the injury of the bronchus. So, but for the cryo itself, so in this case, so we use the 2 needles, packing at the medial and the lateral aspect like this. So, and this is the ice ball creating during the cryo ablation. So you can see the ice ball creating very huge because we use the 2 needles at the same time. So what we see, this is a hemorrhage during inside of the ablation zone. And this is the 3 months and 14 months later. So if you do the cryoablation, so the ablation zone is shrink very fast comparing with the RFA and the microwave ablation. What about the outcome? So maybe you think I'm applying for the cryoablation back, but actually it's not. From the evidence, so the outcome of the tumor control is the same. So the outcome of the RFA microwave, the cryoablation, having the good local tumor control and the same of the overall survival. So the thing that we gonna choose which modality, it depends on the how to reduce the complication after the procedure. So this is my last slide of the summary of the RFA, microwave, and the cryoablation. For the tumor size, less than 2 centimeters, each modality is the same. If the tumor size is more than 2 centimeters, I think the microwave can have the benefit because of the 1 needle can creating the covering good ablation zone. Cryo can do the more than 2 centimeters as well, but it can have wing to add it more, not only the 1 probe. For the subpleural location and the central location right now, I really prefer of the cryoablation as I show you the case. But to be honest, cryoablation has the longest procedure because each time to do the ablation is take 30 minutes. This does not include the time that you have to pressing the needle carefully. So that means the whole procedure is longer than the others. And the complication, the cryo have a less pain, but be careful, they can have more hemoptysis or the bleeding because the cryo cannot have the calculation necrosis during the ablation. So you have to be careful on that. especially for the patient who have the cardiomyopathy. So maybe you need to avoid that. For the cost, the cryo is higher, and the system sets up the cryo is, you need the gas, you need a very good vendors, very good distributor to cooperate with this to set up the cryoablation. My take-home point, the lung cancer incidence is high, including the primary and the metastasis as well. So you all need to ready to do the lung ablation more and more, not only the liver ablation anymore. So an ablation is a very good option for the tumor that less than 3 centimeters. So if you need to compete with the SBRT, one of the very good benefit of the ablation is we are very well preserved of the lung tissue. So in case of the emphysematous, in case of the patient underwent surgery before, the ablation is one of the treatment of choice. Either heat or cold, ablation is the same outcome. Don't worry about that. And the patient selection is the key of success. So at this time, this moment, I'm very proud that we have the good Nepalese IR and also the radiologists in your community. So as we are, once you are serious, so you're always serious. This is the one we are talking about. So and hope we have a good collaboration in the future. Thank you so much.